Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first webinar of a series of presentations that will happen throughout January and February. We are live today from our YouTube channel, Consciousness in Evolution, and our Facebook page, Reaprendencia International. Consciousness in Evolution is a program from Reaprendencia International that enables access to information about parapsychic phenomena, bioenergies, projection of the consciousness, multiple lives, and so much more. Today we have a presentation from Professor Eliane Bianchi, who will help us discuss and bring new ideas to answer some of the fundamental questions of the human existence, like where do we come from, why are we here, and where are we going next? We would like to remind everybody joining us today, please feel free to send in your questions. If you are watching us live, we will try to answer them, all of them, during the presentation. Any questions that aren't answered during live, will be posted in the comment section. And if you want to know more about parapsychic phenomena, evolution of the consciousness, and conscientiology, you can subscribe to our channel, visit our page, and follow us on social media, where we'll keep you updated on future courses and free webinars. All links are below in the description. Thank you for joining us in this journey. Professor Eliane Bianchi has a Master's in Language and Society, a Bachelor in Arts. She has been a faculty teacher, a faculty professor for more than 20 years, and a volunteer and conscientiology instructor since 2000. Currently, she's coordinating the English language The Sorrows of Conscientiological Terminology. Professor?
Hello, people. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be here, and thanks for everyone that is watching us, right? As Marlon said, anytime you have a doubt, let's share, let's talk, discuss, and bring your thoughts to the group, right? To the presentation. So, let's get started. And our questions for today, as I told you, they're not only those questions, we have more questions. I don't know, people, about you, but I've been always asking myself about what is my paper, what is my role in this life. And I came to some conclusions that I want to share with you. But first of all, before everything, I want to share with you the principle of disbelief. There is a basic premise of conscientiology. It says, don't believe in anything, not even in what you hear in this webinar. Experiment, have your own experiences. This is very useful for us to maintain our critical thoughts and really not believe, but question, see if there is logic in what is being said here, right? So, here are some of the fundamental questions of human existence, and these questions don't belong to me exactly, don't belong to conscientiology. They are ancient ones, and they came basically from, the ancient times, right? And so, who are we? Where do we come from? Where are we going next? And what's the reason of our existence? So they came from philosophy, okay? Philosophy tried to answer them, not only philosophy, but other strands of human knowledge, as we are going to see here today. And the Homo sapiens, right? We can say that since the Homo sapiens came up, he started reflecting about life and his environment. And I started researching about that. Was that possible that a prehistorical man like the Homo sapiens was reflecting about life and his environment? And I discovered that it was possible because in fact his brain was large enough for him to start this process of thinking. And also Homo sapiens lived in groups, and had a lot of devices and instruments that showed that he had intelligence enough to question about the meaning of life. And if you want to know more about this trajectory of Homo sapiens, there is the author Yuval Harari, Homo sapiens, and his book is great. I think it's very known, and you can have more information about Homo sapiens from there, but it's very interesting. And so we have here the essential strands of human knowledge. I'm going to go very briefly on them. We have the common sense that it's the ordinary knowledge that is based on practical experiences. It's the knowledge that we get from our family, our friends, and it is very useful, but it's also not trustful enough because they don't check on the information. And if there is someone with the wrong information and passes to the group, this group ends up, might have some problem with the common sense knowledge. And then we have the mythical knowledge that is very old, and it started during this time from the Homo sapiens, and it was very useful. If we study the mythical knowledge, it's very interesting because the myths try to explain the natural phenomena and even the personality of mankind. And it's interesting because it was very important because through the myths, the groups got together. And also, it was necessary, this mythical knowledge and approach, because it was a way that people started developing language because they were always talking to each other and telling stories, developing narratives about the myths to one another. There wasn't written the writing in that time. And so it was good and important for transmitting the knowledge of the language through the generations. And they started developing brain through this kind of knowledge. So I think it's very important. The problem is that some people nowadays still have some mythical or some mystical approach in their lives. And this is not so good because it's based in fantasies, in imagination. There is a third strand that is religion, and religion also had its role in humanity, in knowledge, and tried to answer those questions. However, there are some limits because religion leads with absolute truth, and although it has some positive aspects on religion, it's not enough for answering all those questions in a technical way. But we have here the line 4 and 5, that is philosophy and conventional science, that were the best and are still the best that we have. Although philosophy is very important in mankind, in education, because it's the mother of all science. We're going to talk a little bit more about philosophy very briefly as well, right? But before everything, we have philosophy, conventional science, but we have a sixth strand that is what I want to talk about with you and present some new aspects. That is conscienciology, called interdimensional self-experimentation. That is more complete, it's broader, and because it has some premises that we, the consciousnesses, are multidimensional beings, right? So let's go ahead with some aspects of philosophy. So as some of you might know, is a system of knowledge that seeks to explain the universe, the purpose of existence, the natural forces within it, right? And it's very important to mention that philosophy inaugurated the effort for itself to understand reality without resorting to sacred revelations as the myths use it to do, as religion use it to do. And we can say that some sophists that were a line of philosophy, very ancient, started 2,300 years ago, And the sophists like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle gave very important contributions to humanity education, and some of their ideas are still now used and influences people that are doing science today, right? So philosophy is good, but has some limitations because it doesn't talk to about, for example, multidimensionality, doesn't talk about interexistentiality, it doesn't talk about the influences of energies and good energies or bad energies from one consciousness over the other. So it's the boundary. And we have the conventional science that is very good. Well, it's one of the best things we have nowadays is the conventional science because it attempts to explain the origin of the universe, and it has many theories about it. The most known is the Big Bang one, but they have some other theories, and it's all based in chemical reactions and um, like how the planet formed itself, how was the first sign of life, and how this life evolved through the millions and millions of years. So now it's very important because it's based on problem detection, hypotheses, inquiries, and then they systematize in the scientific method. They have to do the knowledge based on averiguation and until they have new hypotheses over that matter. And it's very good to know that we have conventional science. However, it has its limits as well. That's why I'm going to introduce you to the science conscienciology. That is the science that studies the consciousness in an integral way, multidimensionally, with all its vehicles and states of manifestation. It has some pillars that we call consciential paradigm. Conscienciology was proposed by Dr. Waldo Vieira, and Waldo Vieira passed away, discarded his soma, his physical body, in 2015, but he left all his ideas registered in books, treatises, and his knowledge is spread all over the world nowadays. And conscienciology is the big science, but it has many subfields that we call specialities of conscienciology. One of them is projectology. It's the science that studies the out-of-body experience, and it's considered the practical part of conscienciology because projectology, through projectology, we can really have the experiences, the parapsychic experiences, and see if what conscienciology says in theory is something that has sense and it's true and it's rational, right? We are going to see how is that possible because I'm going to present the vehicles and the states of manifestations of the consciousness, right? So let's get the first answer about who are we. So we are consciousnesses. According to this new science, conscienciology that exists for 30 years, it's something that is new. We are consciousness. And what is a consciousness? It is you and I. And it's also known as individual, essence, soul, spirit, the intelligent principle, let's put it this way. In it, we are in constant evolution using specific vehicles or bodies to manifest in diverse dimensions. The consciousness is one of the two basic cosmic components, being the other the energy, right? How is that, right? Oh, just some brackets in here. Animals are consciousness as well. Any animal, people, since very small animals, they are consciousnesses. They are evolving like us, humans, and also plants any kind of plants, they are consciential principles. It means that someday they will reach other evolutionary levels. We are all evolving, learning. And so here is a picture or a drawing from the holosoma. That is the set of bodies that we use, that we, the consciousnesses, we use to manifest in this intraphysical dimension. So I want to explain to you. Holo means all, and soma means body from Greek, right? So let's suppose that a person has come from work, is tired, sit down on an armchair and sleeps. She's taking a nap, and all of a sudden, her psychosoma, that is his emotional body, that is more or less it's a copy of the soma, but it's much more subtle, and it is able to go out of his body, right, and manifest itself in the extra physical dimension. So we call that the body is in the intraphysical dimension, that is this material dimension, and the psychosoma manifests in a more subtle dimension, that is the extra physical. And this psychosoma is carrying the consciousness, right? The consciousness itself is not the physical body, not the psychosoma, but it is something else, right? And you can see that there is the energosoma as well, that is this lightning here. It is a body, although it looks like a light, a luminosity, it is considered a body, and it is formed by thousands and thousands of chakras, right? We're going to see this during this presentation. And part of the energosoma stays in the physical body, and part of it stays with the psychosoma, right? And as you can see, there is an appendix here called silver cord, right? It's here, silver cord, not in Portuguese. And the silver cord connects both the psychosoma and the physical body. And so I showed you the three bodies: physical one, extra physical or psychosoma, also known as emotional body, and the energosoma, right? And besides that, there is a fourth body, that is the mental soma, or the mental body. And it's represented here in a ball of energy, and it carries the consciousness as well. So probably she slept, had a psychosoma projection, and then later on she had a mental soma projection, right? It's two steps. Although it's possible for a person who's more evolved or has this ability more developed, in having directly a mental soma projection without having a psychosoma projection, or the psychosoma stays a little bit discoincident. And here we have also the golden cord, that is another appendix that connects psychosoma with the mental soma. Okay, people, here is a brief presentation of the whole soma, but we will have a presentation here in our program, Consciousness in Evolution, only about holosoma, where we're going to explore more deeply these aspects. If you have any question, please feel free to put it in our chat. So going a bit ahead, here also the holosoma, it's the same, but it's another picture, and the names are in English, right? Soma, energosoma, psychosoma, mental soma, and the appendixes, silver cord and golden cord. Let's go ahead. So coming back, the reality, what's our reality here in this intraphysical dimension? According to conscienciology, there are two elements in the universe: the consciousness and energy. Only those two. And I'm going to talk about, and you're going to see if that makes sense for you, right? So the consciousness, we, the intelligent principle, and energy. What is energy? We have the physical energy that we know that we can measure the physical types of energy. We can have instruments and see its manifestation, but we are talking about not only the physical energy, but especially about the bioenergy. So, bioenergy is the energy present in all living beings, and it's composed by immanent energies and consciential energies that belong to the consciousness. And what are immanent energies? You're going to see. They are the ones that are present in the universe. And there are some types of immanent energy. It's an energy that is more pure, without any information, right? So we have hydro energy is a type of immanent energy. We have phyto energy, and it's a little bit hidden here, but we can see the earth here and on the forest, and it's called geoenergy. That is the energy from the earth, not only from the plants. Zoo energy that are belong from those animals and living beings that are in the forest. They also have a standard of energy called zoo energy. It's present in all animals, in every animal. And we have aero energy, that is the one that is very much present in the air. For example, here in this picture, we have planet Earth, and there is a tornado forming here. So it's a lot of energy that it carries. And the cosmo energy is another type of immanent energy that is present in the stars and the galaxies, in the cosmos. Extra-physical energies that are present in the extra-physicality, and those have information, because usually they have information from the extra-physical consciousnesses that are there, and the extra-physical energies can be very positive or not so positive, right? And we have, on the other hand, very differently from immanent energy, but is the consciential energy from the people. In fact, the immanent energy involves everything, all the objects, even the simple things that are at your place, that you're looking at now. It's full of immanent energy. And the consciousnesses, we absorb that, we imprint our thoughts, sentiments, and energy, and we exteriorize it to the others in the form of consciential energy. It's a process that happens constantly. So we have this, in this it's positive, but here we have another type of consciential energy that's heavier, right? It seems that they are in a soccer game, they're competing heavily, and they are manifesting this competition. It's like a war, right? And here, people, and another type of consciential energies for us to think. If we go to a shopping center, you will realize that consciential energies, they have some standards. Sometimes, depending on the places that you are, they have specific standards. For example, if you are in a shopping center and you wanted to you go there just for walking, sometimes you feel like buying things and you didn't need anything. You didn't need anything, but you feel like buying, because the consciential energies, they influence us. Do you remember that I told you they have information of the consciousness? And the ones who are more sensitive, they perceive, and they might get involved with that, right? So, how do we manifest ourselves in this life? We have, according to conscientiology, we have three consciential states. The state of intraphysicality, when we are in the intraphysical, we have our physical body. They state that when we are projected, when we are temporarily out of our body in the extraphysical dimension, and they state extraphysical, when we don't have our biological body anymore, we pass through the biological death, or what we call the soma, that is discard of the soma, right? And then we go to the extraphysical. And here we have more explained how do we manifest ourselves. There is something that happens constantly with us because we have a brain, and also we have a parabrain, and we have our thoughts. The brain, the physical brain, is an organ that is programmed, it's done for having thoughts. All the time we have thoughts. And all our thoughts bring us sentiments. And these sentiments bring a standard of energy that we are exteriorizing and changing with the others. So it's something that we call tocene. It's a unit that is indissociable. Thoughts, sentiments, and energies. Thoughts are the ideas, the reasoning. And they express, through the thoughts, we express sentiments that can be a bunch of many types of sentiments. And those express our energies, right, with our standard, as I told you. So here we have a representation of tocene. It's formed by thought, sentiment, and energy. So we don't think, in fact, we tocenate. That's the logic, okay? Another thing that is very, very important for us to mention here is that the energosoma, remember that luminous body that I showed you that didn't look like a body, but it is around the psychosoma and a little bit around the soma. When we are projected, they separate a little bit. And so this energosoma is formed by thousands and thousands of chakras, very small chakras. But there are these bigger ones that are more important ones. And I'm going to show you here. We have, starting from the plantar chakras, it's a chakra that are the sole of the feet. Palmar chakras that are in our hands. Splenical chakra that is a little bit above the navel, and it's responsible for absorbing a lot, big amounts of energy and spreading all over the body. And we have the nuchal chakra that is here on the back of our neck, and what we call the noble chakras. We have the cardio chakra, laryngeal chakra, and frontal and coronal. The noble ones considered noble because they deal with this mental body and energize our brain and parabrain are those, the frontal chakra and the coronal chakra. We have also the umbilical chakra and sexual chakra, right, that are more based on the human instincts and needs and desire, needs of protection, of security, safety. And the sex chakra is very important too because it energizes all the others. And when we are talking about chakras, they are important devices that we have that absorb great amounts of energy, energize our energosoma, and that energy passes through the psychosoma, through the soma. And when they are balanced, it's very important that those chakras are unblocked, that the energies can be moved through them, because then it means that we are healthy, right? And many diseases, many physical diseases are caused because one of those chakras have are blocked, or have a great amount of energy, or have few energy. So it's very good when we start knowing these concepts and we can use it for our everyday well-being. We can learn how to deal with that, move your energies, and unblock those chakras, right? And that's something we see very much and we work in the courses from conscienciology, right? In conscienciological courses. So later on, I will invite you for our new course that is starting in March 5, right? That is called the Fundamentals of Consciousness Evolution. I will talk to you before this lecture finishes, right? So we have here all the chakras, but I will go through them and we'll answer another question. What are we here for? So, what is the purpose of us being here? What is the purpose of our life? Well, what we can say to you about this question is that we are here to evolve. We are here to evolve. But people think that evolution, what is evolution? The biology sees evolution in a way that is very related to the living beings biologically. But we consider that evolution is, for example, mastering these bioenergies, is to be able to unblock your chakras, for example, exteriorize the energies, absorb energies when you need, to make great use of that, to go out of the body. So these are simple examples, but there are much more. That's what evolution is, to master bioenergies. Also to increase awareness, because when someone goes out of the body, it's hard to maintain for many people that are beginners. It's hard to maintain the awareness in the extra physical environment. And then something that is very a phenomena like the out of body experience that is physiological and natural, the person ends up going out of the body and sleeping over his body. And that's the best thing, is to go out of the body and use that time, use that experience for you to develop yourself, to evolve more, to do assistance. Another thing that regards evolution is to be cosmoethical. It means be ethical, not only here in the intraphysical, but cosmoethical means you to be cosmoethical everywhere, even in the extra-physical. You don't think only in what's good for you, but for everyone. That is the idea of cosmoethics. That is a universal ethic. To be fraternal, to be maxi-fraternal. That is really develop your empathy in the maximum that you can with the others. Really not judging, really understand each one evolutionary level. And to feel well and happy, of course, because if evolving is something that must bring us a lot of joy and happiness. It can't be, evolution can't be something like, wow, it's so hard, I'm evolving, but it's so hard, I'm so unhappy. No, it's quite the opposite. Okay. To be existential, that is a basic one. Another premises of conscienciology is the interexistentiality. Is when you are being existential with the other, you are being existential to yourself. So it's interassistance always. It's two hands all the time. When you assist, you are assisted. And to evolution is also to accomplish a mission of life that includes all this in what we call an existential program. There is a neologism for that. There is Proexis. So if you divide the word into two parts, it's existential program, right? And what is this existential program? Is a specific existential program of each consciousness. We call intraphysical consciousness this another new word I will present to you. It's conscience, right? If you share here, intraphysical consciousness, conscience. So it is the specific existential program of each intraphysical consciousness, conscience, in its new life in this human dimension, planned before the somatic rebirth, what we call resoma of the consciousness is still extra physical when we have another word that is conscience, that is the extra physical consciousness, right? So when you are in the extra physical period, when you are conscious, you planned an existential program. That's a possibility. Most of people really go to the extra physical and they're not aware that even they pass it through the discard of the soma. But the ones who are more aware, more lucid, and think of evolution and want to help the others, let's say the ones who are a bit more evolved might have an existential program, and it's also individual, it's made for you, non-transferable, nobody can do the Proexis for you, and it's customized for a specific moment of a consciousness, right? And then this road here represents a Proexis, that you are here and you can see what's going to happen next. But your Proexis might be a bit harder. For example, you have to build things that doesn't exist. And that happens, and it's an opportunity for you to do things. And it's very good. And something that is interesting is that our Proexis was agreed, wasn't imposed for us. You have to do this. We have some evolutionary uh, mates or people called evoluciologists that help people while in the extraphysical period. They help people to do their praxis, right? People, do you have any questions so far? Marlon, is everything fine?
Everything is happening fine. No questions so far. You can continue with the
Okay, just
presentation.
yes, just to make sure, because I'm watching here and I'm just seeing this my presentation. In the moment I can see you,
No problem.
so
Everything is running very
I
smooth.
was, wow. I hope they are there. I hope I'm not
We're all
disconnected.
here listening. We have
Oh, great,
13
that's
people
great.
now.
Okay, so people, we have many books from Professor Vieira and other authors from Conscienciology, and they are very good. They have a lot of information, really useful information for the ones who want to discover and to know more about this, right? So we have here this in English. That's great. It calls Proexis Manual. Where are we going next? So it's another question that is very important. Where are we going after the discard of our soma? After we don't say, we can say death, biological death, or we say after this soma, right? Well, we have been having the extra-physical period, that is this blue one, and the intra-physical human lives. So we spend some time here and go to the extra-physical, and what we're going to do while we are in this period, right? We come over here to the intra-physical, accomplish some tasks from our existential program, and then we go back. You can see that some extra physical periods are longer, take longer than others that are shorter. Okay, and what are we doing there in the extra physical? There are some possibilities. You can be invited. You can be invited to the intermissive course, right? That is that consists of advanced theoretical practical classes. You're going to have classes, right? About everything that is related to evolution. Can be interassistance, cosmoethics, mastering bioenergies, out of body experiences, how to help the others. You are going to be learning things, new things, developing your skills while you are in the extra physical, and being prepared for the next existential program that you might have, right? So we have here another book from the author Tatiana Mota. It calls Intermissive Force. And this is something we can do if we have a basic, a minimum evolutionary level to be able to assist to watch this intermissive course. You're going to have an invitation from your helpers that are our evolutionary friends and colleagues. And another thing that you can do is to meet your family and evolutionary friends and have a parasocial life with them. You can live in communities, and these communities that you are going to, they are communities that you have tosenic affinity. It means your thoughts, sentiments, and energies, the ones that you felt and used during this life, will lead you, will give you, will connect you with people who have the similar standard of toxins as you. So the groups are formed through tocinic connection in the extra physical. So you might go to them, meet friends, meet family, and study and research more evolved things in a parapsychoteca. It's also a possibility. Something.
Professor Eliane,
Yes.
we have a question here from Irina Kondruta. How can we change our mentality from evolution through suffering to evolution with joy?
That's a good question, Irina. Thanks for asking. I think that there are some steps in which we are learning things. When we have new challenges, for example, it's sometimes we suffer a little bit. For example, you decided to go to a new professional life that is going to be very assistential to the others. But as you were learning, you started, it's a lot of stress. I don't know if you started something new in your life. It's a lot of stress. You have to manage the new challenges. But after some times, you do it smoothly, and then you started getting joy from that. You start being relaxed and enjoying things. So I think we have to put our efforts. We have to self-organize ourselves for our moments, because when we are self-organized, we can, for example, study the technical part, the theoretical part, and we can apply that theory into practice, right? And that makes a lot of difference when we are talking about our professional life. But something that helps a lot for us not to suffer is also to be open, to have consciential openness for the new things. Because then, if we accept new things and changes, it's going to be much easier. We are going not to be so attached to the old things, right? That might cause to most of people pain, because you have to give away some stuff. But sometimes it's necessary to close doors, to open new doors for a new path. I hope I have helped to clarify a little bit this, but I think it's a process, Irina. We have to put our efforts and trust in the evolutionary process. Okay. And Another thing that we can do is talk to the evolutionologist. That is this person, this guy, this consciousness that knows us better than us. He knows us for a quite long time, and he will give us some tips, some suggestions for us to do the next existential program, right? And he can have a bigger view. So here it calls extra-physical para-provenance or your extra-physical hometown. So each one of us, people, have our an extra-physical hometown, and we will be going back to there. And I also think that sometimes we had an extra-physical para-provenance, but in this life we studied, we evolved, we passed through this stress and kind of suffering. Then we overcame this suffering and started getting joy. Oh, we evolved. And we are going to order maybe a new extra-physical para-provenance. It's possible as well. It depends on our performance here. So that's something that I was thinking about. I don't know what you think, but I think it makes sense for me, depending on. But for sure, we are going to say hello to our old extra-physical para-provenance. So here, we are not going to do the energy work today, but this is something we do in our courses. And I have an invitation for you. I will explain it, this energy work, very briefly, right? Something that you can do in your home or wherever you are that is a calm place is what we call vibrational state. That means it's an exercise that you move your energies from your energosoma, right? And it consists of a very simple movement that you concentrate and you absorb the energies from the plantar chakras and take all this energy to the top of your head. And when it reaches the top of your head, you go down again to the feet and start this movement in your rhythm. And you are going to increase the speed as you feel comfortable and safe. And with the increase of the speed, you are going to reach what we call vibrational state. And you can perceive that your energies are all over vibrating. And this is very, very helpful in terms of detoxification, in terms of when you're going to blind yourself from negative energies, and also to energize your chakras, right? So it's something that we, all the classes in Conscienciology, we usually do, right? And so I recommend to you. And now the invitation for you to take part of our course, that is the Fundamentals of Consciousness Evolution, is starting March 5, 2022. People, this course is the first time that we are having it, that Representation is giving it in English. And so it's a great opportunity for you and for you to invite your friends who want to know more. The course has 20 classes. Each class has 2 hours and a half. It's going to be Saturdays and Sundays. In Brazil, it's from 9 to 11:30. In Europe, 3 GTM, right? And is it 3? I think it's not 3, Marlon. Can you correct? I think it's 12. 12 GTM.
Yes.
It's from 12. I think it's wrong
12,
here.
12
It's
GMT.
12.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Good.
It's the same times of our webinar series.
Yes, the same time. So the course has 50 hours, 10 weeks, and it has all the basis of conscienciology, right? And that's it, people. So I hope you have enjoyed, you have come to good conclusions or doubts that this may arise at you in you some doubts. And we have some minutes. You can ask questions. We have 10 minutes already. Please feel free. Here are my bibliographical references from this. Right? Thank you very much.
Excellent. So it seems our time is up. Thank you so much, Professor Eliane. I'm sure these ideas will help us further comprehend our existence and expand our knowledge about ourselves. That's all the time we have for today. So we hope it was enlightening and informative. If you have any questions, please feel free to add them here in the comment section. We'll do our best to answer them. Join us next week, where we'll have Professor Fabiana Serato talking about developing our self-knowledge and its importance to the evolution of the consciousness. All links are below in the description. So follow us if you want to know more about conscienciology, if you want to know more about parapsychic phenomena, you can follow us on social media and subscribe to the channel. All links are below in the description. We will meet again next Saturday, same time. Thank you so much for joining us today. Happy evolutionary journey.
Thank you very much, people. It was great to be with you here. See you.